What's good? What's good? Right now, right this moment, I wanted to get into character, right? Because it's important in society. But it's been something that most people feel like they can turn on and turn off depending on who they're surrounded by. And that's not the case. I see people who put up facades all the time, unaware that when they're forced to reckon with real life issues and real trials and tribulations, that character begin to seep through those cracks of that mask that they put on to really hide who they are. And it's up to us as spectators, as individuals who witness a person's true identity in those times, right? Do we accept that? Do we lie to ourselves? Or, do we avoid it or just disregard it? And so those social skills, are big, when it comes to sourcing people who are, either like you or just somebody who possess high character, right? That's an important skill, you know, and having a lack of character can diminish any other skill sets that you possess, right? If you're somebody who is a hard worker, right? Lack of character is, when you're given constructive criticism and you just veer off, right? You veer off from that workout regimen, or you veer off from that energy that you started with, and you just cultivate this negative vibe that really knocks you off your pivot. You know what I'm saying? Character has a lot to do with that, a lot to do with that. And so we got to sit down and we got to understand that, this virtue is probably one of the most important, right? It fuels everything else. I'm gonna just be honest. It fuels the brands, it fuels the businesses, it fuels, organizations, right? If you don't have individuals of high character, right, within that meritocracy or within that business or, whatever you're constructing to fill institutional voids, if you don't have that, that's a huge lacking, right? You can't lack character when you're trying to scale something, and I can't stress that enough. But it's people that really, sourcing individuals because of who they are and what they got, diminishing, the integrity, right? And just the morale and just whatever it takes to be a stand-up individual. And so my pops, I just want to switch gears real quick. My pops, right? He was a stand-up guy, somebody who uh showcased good morale, somebody who, just was selfless in a sense. And people remember him for that. People, what I'm saying, they have a deep reverence, when it comes to him because of the way he maneuvered in that aspect. And so when they see me, his seed, right, somebody who is his offspring, I would say, but when they see me, an extension of him, they come and they greet me with respect because of how he carried himself. And so they come up to me like, yo, Lil Mike, you know what I'm saying? That's my pop's name. Lil Mike, I know you're a good individual. I know because your pops was a good individual. And so I know you, possess those same traits, those same character traits. I know it's in you. I can look at you and tell. And if I had $1 for every time somebody came up to me and told me that, I'd be rich. I ain't even gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? And if you're a father, that's something that you should strive to do. How people view you and what you've done and your kids. Now we talking about legacy. Now we talking about that foundation that you laid. Now we talking about you being a catalyst, right? For, just high character. And so my pops, he taught me a lot of things indirectly. He didn't directly tell me, look, this is how you do this. This is how you do that. But I watched him from afar sometimes, right? How he carried himself, how he constructed business, how, he just dealt with people, good and bad. He has a good heart. So, you know, good and bad people, he treat accordingly. You know what I'm saying? And so he taught me how to deal with those same people. He taught me how to maneuver, right? He taught me how to stand up, He taught me how to, you know, be somebody who can bridge that gap between street guys and corporate employees. How you carry yourself is very important. And if you're versatile enough to coexist in different environments, that's a plus. I want to switch gears again, right? Because I was reading a book not too long ago, and it's titled Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. And while I was reading it, Robert Greene, he spoke about the three layers of character, right? With the first layer being genetics, which is what I was talking about with my pops. It may be in my genes, right, to be a good person. Some people are blessed and cursed in that manner, but that's the first layer, right? So we have another layer, which is the second layer. And this layer is when you're around 3 to 5 years old, which is when you are most susceptible to the influence of the people that surround you, right? So you want to be like the people that you see every day, right? You're watching and you're learning and you're gleaning and you're growing because of the people that you're surrounded by every day, whether it's your mother, your brothers, your sisters, whoever you're around, they're shaping you. And a lot of people are unaware of that you're shaping this 3 to 5 year old for the rest of their life, potentially, and I don't think most people take that serious enough. And if they did, they would start to, lock in on some key components and some key virtues that can have people in a great position moving forward, right? And then there's this third layer, right? The third layer is, you being around your peers, right? With habits that you've already cultivated, right? These habits that you develop from your earlier stages of life, right? They're trickling down. And so with you're hanging out with your peers, the people that you built relationships with, you pick up on things with them as well. And so you're growing in that aspect as well. That's why it's important that you are with people that hold you accountable. You are with people that's going to tell you, like, look, that ain't right. That ain't what you do. That ain't how you handle that. That's sucker stuff, right? So we need people in our corner that's going to put us in that place and give us that constructive criticism, who are not just going to blow smoke up our tail and tell us what we want to hear. We need people that's going to set us straight. And so with that third layer, it's important because we're maturing, right? We're going through that maturation stage. And so we become aggregates of our surroundings. We become that product of our environment because we've already been shaped. But now, iron is sharpening iron, right? So the people that you're with, the peers, you got to police each other. You got to understand that your principles and your morals and your integrity may be at stake. If you're hanging around people that are not conducive to what you're trying to do in life, that can be a character flaw, right? That can tamper with your character. And so how we exhibit, character, how we exhibit optimism, how we exhibit, just being a stand-up individual. First is repetition, right? And I say repetition over reputation. What you do over and over and over and over and over again precedes how people view you, from an external point. And that's real important because, most people can trick, people into believing that they're just this most thorough person that they ever known. And that's not the case. Like I said earlier, people can mask themselves and you won't know who you are really in a fight with until the fight get crazy, until you're expecting this individual to be that foxhole friend that you can transcend the trenches with. And so a lot of times when we're at war, we see the type of people that, we let into our inner space. And we see the people that we allowed into our orbit. And so we kind of find out like, look, this ain't the individual that, I want to continue to go to war with. And so when you figure that out, the decision that you make from then on becomes a catalytic moment. It becomes pivotal, right? It becomes a significant decision, right? And so I just want you to choose yourself, choose your character, choose integrity, choose doing the right things, even in unseen hours. Right. And so that's what I wanted to get into today, man. Character is currency, ultimately.